Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your Wednesday morning. I got you a morning update on what is going on right now and also what is going on with this big time storm system that's going to impact a lot of people here in the next 36 to 48 hours, maybe even sooner. I'm talking about snow for a lot of areas pretty far south, snow for the Ohio Valley, snow for the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast. There's going to be snow today for the Northeast. It's probably cranking up right at this moment. And there's a severe weather threat going on right now in the panhandle of Florida, like I just mentioned. So there's a lot to discuss in this video. As usual, I'll make an update this evening with the latest and greatest information. But even today on its own is going to be a very active weather day. So I'm going to mention that in the beginning of this video. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. It goes a long way. Like the video if you like it. I appreciate the ongoing support as usual. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook. If you're not a big social media fan, that's cool. I don't blame you at all. But it's a great way to stay up to date with what's going on. If you guys got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the comments below, guys. Please do, so I can pray over them. Gives others an opportunity to do so too. And we can all look out for one another and glorify God doing it. So let's go on and talk about this. There is a slight risk for today, ongoing this morning all the way through this evening and overnight. But I think overnight the severe weather threat will probably diminish substantially. And this is because, and a slight risk is a level 2 out of 5. And this is because you have a tornado risk, a 5% chance of a tornado of 25 miles in any given location in this brown region. This is, covering areas of South Carolina, Georgia, and the panhandle of Florida. And guys, unfortunately, this is looking like it's verifying right now as of 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll go on and switch over to radar scope really quick. And that is because of this storm. You have some pretty tight rotation just north of Greenwood here, Greenwood, Florida. I don't think it's quite crossing to the Georgia-Florida line here. And we look at the velocity scan, which really tells us where that tight rotation is. And it looks like it might be losing the rotation a little bit, but I'm not going to guarantee it. We don't have confirmation. We probably will a little bit later, probably this morning, if there was a tornado on the ground here. But this is, you can tell the eyesore right here. You got the two differences in colors right here. That tells us that we have tight rotation. The velocity scan telling us that there's some kind of rotation going on right here north of Greenwood, Florida. So guys, if you're in southern areas of Georgia and areas of the panhandle of Florida, continue to be weather aware this afternoon. Well, this morning really, and early this afternoon, because it's going to continue to be ongoing. Now, if you're watching this at 11 a.m., guys, that radar scan I just showed you, that is for right now while I'm making this video. So that's for 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So obviously if it's 11 a.m. and you're watching this video, it's a little bit different. But you do have this tornado watch out. This is right now. This is for all the all the counties you see on the screen right now. And this is until about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today as of Wednesday. So the tornado threat is ongoing right now. And, this was always going to be kind of a more of an earlier afternoon threat. And there might be another tornado watch issued a little bit later in further eastern areas of counties of Georgia into South Carolina. We have to watch out for this. So be weather aware today. I do want to mention too, there's a threat Friday. This is Friday morning and a Saturday morning for severe weather. We don't know the details on this yet, but we know that they've already issued a slight risk for day 3. So that's already substantial on its own. We'll have to see how this trends over the next 24 to 48 hours. But for today, this is the latest HRRR model, already verifying with a tornado threat in the panhandle. We have to see how these storms come together a little bit later. The latest HRRR model, as we're getting about the midday time frame, it doesn't look that worrisome, but I really think you got to watch out. Southern Georgia, where you had the most moist air. Maybe you don't have the best low-level jet wind energy down here, but you definitely have a lot of moist air. And you're probably going to have more CAPE down here, convective energy, juice for them storms. So watch out southern areas of Georgia a little bit later today, later in the morning hours and this afternoon. And then we have to watch for any development here in the afternoon hours in South Carolina, heck, even North Carolina. And, any of these storms have the potential to produce a weak tornado. They really do. Not necessarily weak, a tornado in general. So be careful. You look at the NAM for the same time frame, same situation. You're getting going through in time, early afternoon hours. Watch out for all these storms right here showing up in Georgia, South Carolina. It's going to be an active day on its own today. It really is. And then more convection can really get going later this afternoon into early this evening. I'm talking about 5, 6 p.m. as we're getting into eastern sections of the Carolinas and then southeast Georgia in general. So we'll have to see. Does this tornado threat really get ramped up? But it's already verifying right now with a substantial tornado threat. You also have The snow breaking out right now. This is valid. This is kind of trying to show you what the radar could potentially look like about what's falling about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today. You got snow breaking out over Pennsylvania, southern New England. This could be a quick thumping of snow. So this is kind of ongoing right now. Well, not literally right now, but it'll be ongoing throughout the day. So we have to see how this is going to verify. I would say that maybe the latest short-range models compared to maybe yesterday has came in a little bit juiced up, it's a little bit less juiced up as far as snowfall total. So I'm going to show you the National Weather Service blend right now. Guys, if y'all are watching this and y'all live in this area, please tell me how much snow y'all are getting. I'm very interested in this little small scale event because I do think it has the opportunity to produce here. But accumulating snow definitely expected regardless of how warm it's been lately. So Pennsylvania, New York City, maybe a dusting to an inch. Long Island, especially eastern areas of Long Island, watch out. Y'all might get maybe an inch or two. But then Connecticut, Rhode Island, I think a few inches is definitely possible. 1 to 2 inches possible in Boston. We'll just see how this goes out. But definitely nothing expected. In fact, you're already getting a cold rain in Washington, D.C. right now as of 7 a.m. So we'll get going here into the meat of this video. We're talking about this big-time storm system moving in here in the next 36 to 48 hours. I'm going to show you this right off the dot. This is chances to see 1 inch of snow between now and Sunday morning. Look how high these chances are. It's pretty far south. Getting in even into northern, around Huntsville, 50% chance to see an inch of snow. Northern Mississippi, 30 to 50 to 60% chance widespread to see an inch of snow. Memphis, Tennessee, 70 to 80% chance to see an inch of snow. Nashville, you're over 80% chance. The entire state of Kentucky, it almost looks likely at this point to see an inch of snow. And then northern Arkansas, Missouri. Basically, look at this as a substantial signal to see accumulating snow, which is an inch of snow, and that'll be enough to make the ground white. And so this is the European ensembles showing you this, and it's pretty impressive signal. It really is. Now, this is also accounting for the system today for these areas right here, but still, let's look at the latest GFS. We'll get this storm out of the way. Snow today for these areas that we just mentioned. We keep this rolling here, and then you watch this piece of energy that links up with some energy down here. They begin to interact. They begin to phase. Therefore, you're going to have snow in the panhandle of Texas, a band of snow that, let's back this up. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. A band of probably moderate to intense snow that moves through Friday morning for Missouri, central Missouri. Areas of southern Kansas, areas of northern Oklahoma. This continues throughout the day and your morning for Friday morning into Friday about midday. A band of snow is likely for areas of basically the entire state of Oklahoma. This continues to go. That heavier snow moves in the southern sections of Missouri. This is the latest GFS, by the way. I want to remind you guys of that. And then, you start to look for northeast northern Texas here, like Dallas, Texas, and areas just north. Do y'all mix to any kind of snow? It's a big question mark here, but I think areas of eastern Oklahoma could get a quick few inches of snow for sure. This begins to move into, Friday afternoon, evening, into maybe more so southern Missouri, southeast Missouri, then potentially the entire state of Arkansas could see, especially the central to north central areas, well, to northern areas of Arkansas, like the Ozarks, could see accumulating snow. A few inches definitely possible. You're getting into overnight hours, Friday night into Saturday morning. Look at this band of snow moving into areas of northern Mississippi, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, central Kentucky, all the way up to the Ohio Valley, southern areas of Indiana, Illinois. This is in the middle of the night, Friday night into Saturday morning. That's a heavier band of snow cranking up here. As this low pressure continues to intensify rather quickly here, that goes from a 1001 millibar low to a 992. That's a pretty substantial amount of strengthening in a 6-hour period. So we're around Saturday morning. This is when it could really thump some heavy snow in areas of central to eastern Kentucky, into eastern and southeastern Ohio, into West Virginia. I think the rain switches to some very heavy snow. Watch out the western facing slopes of the Appalachian Mountains in Tennessee especially. Gatlinburg, y'all could get a period of very intense snow. Watch out Chattanooga, a period of maybe a few hour period of some heavy wet snow. It's going to be just a heavy rain to a heavy snow kind of deal. You keep this going here, and this becomes a big question mark. We're starting to get a lot more clarity on what's going to happen here in the Mid-South. But the big question mark here really is, what's going to happen in the Northeast? There's a lot of questions on when this interacts, when it phases. If it interacts and phases a little bit further to the west, that means the low pressure is going to cut more to the west. It strengthens, it controls its own destiny more, it controls its own route, if you will, kind of like in hurricane season. We're talking about these hurricanes kind of maneuvering around high pressures. When it strengthens, it can control its own destiny a little bit. It'll cut a little bit more throughout the eastern U.S. and really become a cutter. That means areas of maybe this part right here becomes, of the Ohio Valley, starts to see a little bit more snow. Right now, we have to see where this low pressure tracks. So we're getting into Saturday, midday, afternoon, heavier snow showing up for interior New York State, Pennsylvania, a lot of heavy snow showing up here. And then you watch northern VA, West Virginia, areas of western Maryland see snow. But then you get to the last frame, you're getting into Saturday evening, and you're even switching to snow all the way into the Delmarva area, to Washington, D.C., New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. You're switching to snow. New York City, you're starting to switch to snow. You're getting into overnight Saturday into Sunday, and you end as some snow for Boston, but it's a little too late here for anything substantial. And then maybe a little bit of northwest flow kicks up here. As far as snowfall accumulations based off the GFS, we'll look out west here in the central U.S. This is through the entire duration of the storm. Basically, the entire state of Kansas getting accumulating snow, anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snow. We watch Missouri. Where's going to be the hot spot in Missouri? Is it going to be central Missouri, southern Missouri? Well, watch out Columbia, Missouri. You can maybe flirt with 4 to 6 inches of snow. There's a weird little hole, standing out right here on the GFS. We're not going to know if this is going to verify. Don't look at that if you're in that area of southeast Missouri. Say, oh man, well, I'm only getting an inch of snow. That's we don't know that. So, but you look at Arkansas, almost the entire state of Arkansas sees accumulating snow. But then, it's really close in Oklahoma. I think the northern fringe of Oklahoma could see snow, but, you're starting to get into Oklahoma City and places like that, Tulsa, and it becomes a question mark. But I do think you are going to see accumulating snow somewhat. But then you get really close to Dallas, nothing showing up. I think y'all see some wintry precipitation in Dallas, but do y'all see any substantial accumulation? That's which I think is an inch for mid-March standards for Dallas, Texas, in my opinion. That's the system that's happening right now. We keep this going here on the GFS, move a little bit more east. The entire state of Tennessee, except maybe this little area of Tennessee right into here. Watch out Chattanooga. Chattanooga gets gypped a lot. I know you guys show y'all's frustration through the comments. I don't blame you. You guys, I think the geographical microclimate in y'all's area, whether y'all in the valley, whatever it is, the valley between the plateau and the actual mountains to your east of the Appalachian Mountains, I think kind of screws y'all over a little bit. But hopefully y'all get into some action here. I know you guys miss on a lot of these events. But in general, this is going to be a heavy hitter for eastern Kentucky, I really think, especially maybe western to central West Virginia. And then southeast Ohio, I think is going to be a hot spot for this. Watch out Pittsburgh. This could be your biggest snowstorm of the year in March. So we'll have to see how that unfolds. Nashville, a few inches of snow, I think is becoming likely. Memphis, I think a couple inches of snow is becoming likely. And I think it's likely that we're going to see accumulating snow in the northern counties of Mississippi. Huntsville, Alabama, I think y'all are going to see rain change into snow. How much y'all get, I still don't know. And I don't have enough confidence to say that. But I think I will have a little bit more confidence on that here in the coming hours and days here. GFS ensembles are quite impressive. They really are. I mean, this is a stout signal for snow in Tennessee in areas pretty far south. So, you look at that. These are the ensembles, which is a more respectful thing. I always mess up that word, guys. Jesus. But look at this. I'm getting tongue twisted because I'm trying to speed through this video because I got to go on and get the word. But I got to feed y'all this information, and I love doing it. But substantial snow for mid-March standards showing up for Tennessee and Kentucky. It really is. And this is a good signal on the ensembles itself. You're looking at the European. What is the European looking like for the central U.S.? We get going here in time. This northern piece of energy for early Thursday morning for areas in Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Kansas. This is going to deliver some decent snowfall accumulations for this area. It begins to intensify as we're getting into Friday morning, though. And the Euro wants to throw more of Oklahoma City and more of central and southern areas of Oklahoma, more of a bone with more accumulating snow. So I have to see how this works out. But even it kind of agrees with the same thing the GFS showing for this area of northern Texas, Dallas, that you guys it might be a little bit too late for you guys to transition to snow as you run out of moisture. But areas into Arkansas, central to northern Arkansas, as we're getting into late Friday evening, afternoon, you guys are seeing substantial snowfall, moderate to heavy snow, Quad States region, southern Illinois, areas of Indiana. We'll go on and switch this to the east here as we're getting going through in time. And there's a chance that in Memphis you might only get 1 hour of rainfall. It might just be all snow. But as you're getting into the late afternoon, evening hours, you guys are switching to snow in Memphis and western Tennessee. And then as we're getting into the middle of the night, the wee hours of the morning, it's just an all-out snowstorm in Tennessee and maybe even areas of northern Mississippi and Alabama. Really, the Euro wants to give areas like Huntsville, Alabama a bone here and give y'all accumulating snow in a period of a pretty heavy, moderate to heavy snow. Kentucky, like I said, keep mentioning, you guys are going to get hit hard. And I think areas like West Virginia is going to get hit hard with this too. Y'all are probably going to start out as rain from most of the state, but then switch to heavy snow. Then we're getting into a little bit later Saturday morning and substantial winter weather event for mid-March standards ongoing for the western slopes of the mountains, basically all the mountains of North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee. Very close to switching to a brief period of snow at the end of this, even in Atlanta. Even if it happens, no accumulation expected. But we're going through this in time in the Saturday afternoon. Low pressure. Watch this. The Euro wants to give more snow for the bigger cities, and it wants to change over this rain to snow much quicker for Washington, D.C., New York City, all the big cities in between. And, even for Boston, you guys end late Saturday evening for a period of moderate snowfall that could, drop a few inches of snow on the ground for you guys. So it all just depends. When are these systems going to interact phase? You look at snowfall accumulations based off the Euro, and we're looking at this, and I forgot to pull the European ensembles up. But we're going through here in time, and, this is obviously counting some of the system that happens today, but European kind of pretty much agrees with the GFS. Substantial winter weather expected for mid-March standards. I've said that 100 times for Tennessee, Kentucky, and all these regions right into here. And really what we're looking at here, and we'll briefly look at this, we're looking at this piece of energy associated with this digging Arctic trough cold front, and how quick do they phase? If they phase and interact quicker, that means this has a higher chance for this low pressure to cut more west. If they basically phase or interact, we'll say phase a little bit later, then the low pressure will have a chance to move a little bit further east, which would favor more snow for the northeast areas into the eastern areas of the northeast. So I think snow is a lock for most of Tennessee, regardless of what happens here. But this still has a big player on when these phase and interact on what happens here. But I think we're finally starting to get into a lot of agreement on what's going to happen with this. That's all I got, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless everybody. Stay safe with the severe weather today that's ongoing right now. And I'll talk to y'all this evening.